Hi, animating arms is tricky. I recently explored how to make the character to drive a car and found a pretty cheesy solution where I attach the wheel to the forearm. Unfortunately, this method limits the range of movement and we cannot make a full wheel rotation for continuous animation. Today we'll explore how to make any circular motion for your character. This includes turning crank, opening doors, rowing the boat, swimming in a circle, or any other movement when you move in a circle or ellipses. In the future, I hope to develop it into the app that can get the line and we can just draw any sort of custom animation and our character will follow. So what's the goal for today? We want to take the arms and a wheel in a character animator. We want to build a graph with a circle and the lines that describe the arms. And we essentially want to say, okay, do things on the graph and transform this behavior into the character animator. This way, we automatically make arms follow the circle to animate any driving character, no matter the size of the wheel and the size of the arms. At the moment, we need to work with the code, but everything is fairly easy to set up. We will work on some visual menus in the future, so first review how to adjust the arm behavior in case of the issues, so we can fix our arms. But first things first, I use the parts of the code from Stack Overflow and GitHub, so thank you EcoRudy1 and MSafer. You made things much easier. To review how to set up arms for your needs, here is an actual problem that I had. When I prepared the bunny animation, it only looked good on a one way. When the bunny turns the wheel counterclockwise, the elbow does not behave appropriately. To fix it, let's adjust the size of the arms and the starting angles. Note that the program will start in a certain position and the joints will move to the target position based on where the goal is. And the goal is the points on the circle. So in case our arm is just flipping to the wrong way, one of the good way to fix it would be just position the arm that the starting position is more closely resembles the target position. By default, the arms are just pointing right. So minus 90 degrees and the arm will look down, plus 90 degrees and the arm will look up. The array over here allows you to change the arm size. It goes from left to right and you can put the larger or smaller number to change your joint size, or you can even put the comma and put more numbers here to have more joints itself. But in this case, don't forget to adjust the angle appropriately. You have the same number of numbers. The columns should match. So I can adjust the size of the arms and the wheel until I see the graph that kind of resembles position of the character. At the end, we obviously want to check if the both animations works nicely, so let's see if that works. Great. This automation process is kind of compute heavy and clunky when it comes to the live performance, but it works very well if we want to just record performance and do something with it later on. We do have the real-time animation set up though, but it introduced a little bit of the extra time delay, but it's very useful to kind of debug your character or just see how things are going before you start to record. And as we are using this automation, we essentially can save the value of the knobs that we are using to position the arms, and we can just put it on a list and we can use this list in the future to replace animation in much better way. Don't forget that when we are done with all this animation, we can attach it to the game performance and you can use your R's to control the car at the same time that when the character is driving. Video here. To make everything work, we also need to rig a character in a certain way. I describe it here, but let's stop on the one part that I really found important in this specific case. I usually prefer to have a hinge for my controls because we want to have the independent shoulders and elbows that we control separately and not attached to whatever the body is doing. This allows for much more precise automation. But in this case, we want to keep the body moving around the wheel. So in this case, the wheel behavior allows our arms to stay much more in the center. When we create a replay, we use a file that is called MIDI player arm.ik, and we can use the output from the program before to create the animation. In this file, we need to pay attention to the time scaling that allow us to speed up or slow down the process of animation. And one of the issues that we are fighting with here is replaying the MIDI values simultaneously. So if we have a lot of joints, it can get clunky and it's much easier to do things one by one. So that's exactly what my script does. As we start the recording, it records the elbow performance, then it records the shoulder performance, and so on. And every time it stops the recording, starts the recording, and rewinds when it's done. In the end, we have everything recorded in a Character Animator timeline. So from this point, everything is very straightforward and just clicking around. We trim things from the beginning and the end because we will have some gaps where we don't have the performance recorded. And after we're done, we can right-click, we can create a performance, we assign the MIDI value, and we are ready to animate. Now we have the replay that uses animation to drive right, left, or straight. It would be really nice if the Character Animator would allow us to adjust the speed of the replay, but it's not something that I'm aware of. It would be very nice to have something like Premiere Pro have, where we can just right-click and say like, okay, speed up to 100% and done. But we can do it by adjusting the timescale value for our replay and just recording a bunch of replay. For example, if we want to trigger different things based on duration. As an example, if we're hitting the gas for longer, we can have the car that accelerates more, and the character can have the different behaviors based on that. And don't forget that the characters can be handled. For example, we have the scaling on the y-axis that allow us to smoosh the character a little bit, which would make this effect like the character kind of gets down in a chair or in general affected by what's going on. Additionally, we can get all those different triggers to swap different eyebrows, to have the different facial expression also based on whatever is happening and include it in our replay. When you're done, attach everything to the single behavior and we are ready to play a game. I do really like how it allows me to simplify the process, and I will definitely explore more how to animate the characters for the different games and how to use all those different inputs to have the reactive character. I am thinking of making the window where I can just draw a path and the app will calculate how to animate the arms to follow this path. This way it would be very easy to just draw something and the character will wave arms or do the dances. So we will explore what can be done with that for sure. Any game where we have much more complex movement will be interesting to kind of explore next. So let me know if you have any cool ideas, because if we can capture much more complex movement from the user input and from whoever's playing the game or doing something, it's kind of interesting to me to imagine how the character is gonna look and what are the different scenarios to go about it. Let me know if you have any ideas. Cheers!